Colleagues invite us today to become the first Congress in the history of the United States to hold someone in contempt for complying with our demands. And their target is the Attorney General of the United States. Remember, they promised to reveal the greatest presidential high crime and misdemeanor in American history, an act of treachery and deceit that dwarfs even the incitement of a violent mob insurrection and an attempted political coup that took place right here against our Constitution, our Congress, our Vice President in this chamber.
Wait, did they prove Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are criminal masterminds of epic proportions? Actually, no.
Mr. Turley, I have a simple question for you. In your testimony today, are you presenting any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
No, I'm not.
No, you are not. Ms. O'Connor, you are the second Republican witness here today. Have you, in your testimony, presented any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
I have not.
Thank you.
Republicans have fumbled this investigation so much that they can't even campaign on it, and they know they can't campaign on it. All they have to campaign on is immigrant fear and transphobia. Terrible, really.
One thing. I want my Republican colleagues to give me one thing, one, that I can go campaign on and say we did. One. Anybody sitting in the complex, if you want to come down to the floor and come explain to me one material, meaningful, significant thing the Republican majority has done besides, well, I guess it's not as bad as the Democrats.
And yet, when all their failures come back to bite them, who are they going to blame?
President Biden's Department of Justice appears to be taking every step to insulate him from the consequences, whether it's hiding these audio recordings or attempting to give Hunter Biden a sweetheart plea deal to shield Joe Biden from facing accountability for his role in his family's influence peddling schemes. This is unacceptable. The House of Representatives cannot serve as a necessary check on the presidency if the executive branch is free to ignore the House's subpoenas.
The accountability. Hunter Biden was convicted of a gun charge. Like, this is basically a Democrat gun charge of buying a gun when he was supposedly under the influence. You know, it's illegal. Joe Biden did not interfere in this. We know he didn't interfere because Hunter Biden was found guilty and will be hit with, the proper, punitive sentence for this. There's been nothing. This is the president's son, and he was like, cool, let justice take its course. That's pretty on character and on brand for Joseph Robinette Biden, right? Love him or hate him. He's been like that throughout his career. I would love to see the equivalent of this. I would love to see Don Jr. being brought up on similar gun charges and to watch the real-time meltdown. It's like they're after his children now. Can you imagine it? They're after his children. Imagine trying to jail any one of Trump's children. This is right. We just did it. That's what you imagined. literally all of us, collectively, we're like, oh, Hunter Biden's facing gun charges. Okay, well, if he's guilty, he can go to jail or whatever they do to guilty people. Like, who cares? All of us snickered like a gun charge. Okay, seems weird, but sure. Right? That was literally everyone's reaction. Maybe there's like 2 or 3 people being like, but no one's calling for civil war on this because we're not weird.
Just to clarify, when it comes to SNAP benefits specifically, rural America uses more SNAP benefits than urban America. And right now, I serve an urban district. The majority of my Republican colleagues serve rural districts. So when I say that I'm fighting for a bill that includes making sure that people in this country don't go hungry, I'm not saying that just to say that this is about Texas 30. I'm saying that to say that this is about all of us. So I am not just fighting for my constituents, I'm fighting for yours too.
In the last week, I've had this revelation. I've been mocking the Date Right Stuff guy on TikTok. And, I'll make points that we know about, but MAGA Republicans will be like, that's not how it works. No one ever says that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? People say that all the time. And I think there is a, low information voters, not that Republicans, MAGA doesn't have the exclusivity on low information voters, but they've got a lot of them. And I don't think they understand exactly what their party does and exactly what their party stands for. There is a great many that know exactly what MAGA does, what they stand for, and they're with all of it all the way. So there's that. But I think there's a lot of low information of voters out there that think when they think it's like, they're of the people. MAGA is of the people, right? And it becomes a weird paradox because they can excuse everything that's going on in the Republican Party, right? Because you've got Trump, who is outside the Republican Party, and he's outside the Uniparty, and so whenever the Republicans do something bad, it's just, it's not, those are just the rhinos, and they can very quickly divorce themselves from the paradox. Even though, like, MAGA Republicans, the more MAGA someone is on the Senate and Congress side, you can look at how much they voted no on things, and at things that, like, key things. I mean, the PACT Act. I mean, that was clearly exclusively for veterans that need health care, and they voted against it. And, for reasons. And this is another thing where you have them voting down things that would go to farmers. I mean, this is their base that they purport. I don't think they actually I don't think they fucking care about farmers at all. Just like I don't think they care about veterans. They certainly don't vote like they care about farmers or veterans. So, I mean, they care about billionaires first and foremost, highest priority. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the voting records, the more MAGA, the more they vote no. They vote down everything all the time. Like Jim Jordan, it's actually, if you look up his voting record, Jim Jordan votes no like staggering amount of times.
Mr. Jordan, would you like me to yield to you, express your support for Mr. Gates' legislation
I'm going to yield to Mr. Gates.
No, I'm yielding to you, Mr. Jordan.
Well, I'm going to listen to Mr. Gates' compelling arguments that I know will be coming, and then we will have a debate.
Reclaiming my time, I'd be happy to yield to you for the purpose of yes.
I appreciate your willingness.
Mr. Jordan, if you let me finish.
I will.
It would eliminate the Bureau immediately after enactment. Do you support that, Mr. Jordan? Yes or no?
I've given my answer.
Do you support it?
I've given my answer.
Yes or no, Mr. Jordan?
I've given my answer, Mr. Schiff.
Okay, I guess your answer is you don't support it, or you're afraid to say that you do.
The last week, I've seen the Republicans get really, really desperate. When you see Elon Musk, he's not donating $45 million anymore. He's like, I'm not getting this back. And he's $45 million a month. Sorry. So, and then you see them ramping up illegals, immigration, and trans people, just like, woof, right? And they're just ramping it up. The illegals are coming in to vote. It's not true. It's patently false. There's no basis for it in reality. But it's, as usual, the Republicans can say something and repeat it again and again and again, and it just becomes true by virtue of just saying it so many times that it just is like, all right, sure. I mean, that is the two things, just immigrants and trans people. I mean, if there's another thing about, they get into debt, like there's, deficit hawks. So yeah, I think the last few weeks since Kamala started her campaign, the Republicans don't have clear talking points on this, right? They've had the Joe Biden playbook for so long. They're sort of going, and which is great because you see them get honest, like really honest. You know, like Kamala Harris is a DEI hire who hawk-tooted her way to the top. She's not even black. These are weird things to say. And I mean, I can understand one person saying that here and there, but to have that be a very unified message, that's weird. That's weird. Right? Like for that to be like a unified talking point of MAGA Republicans, that doesn't show good messaging. Even Trump, I will admit, he is the actual like legit all-time king of coming up with middle school nicknames for candidates. I mean, Pudding Fingers, Meatball Ron. I mean, just dude, like hands down, like GOAT on that. Like just the way he comes up with that, I'm like, you cannot even like go near that. And he like can't come up. The funny thing, the left comes up with better nicknames. They call her Kamala, right? And then I'm like, how do y'all not? But like the Kamala doesn't work for the Republican side, right? Kamala, they're like, and so, you know, I mean, if anything, they should just hire. I mean, they don't need to hire leftists to, you know, work for the Trump campaign because, you know, us on the left, basically, I don't know, we somehow do it for free every time we post and bash Kamala. I don't know, like we're like, no, Trump campaign, we don't take money. Weird. We're so much better at bashing her than they ever could be. I think that stems from awareness and, you know, also internalizing a ton of talking points and misinformation from the past several years and not being willing to give that up. But yeah, so yeah, it's been like the Twilight Zone this past few weeks where the Democrats are actually messaging well. I've never seen them message well. During Obama's, you know, when Obama was running, the first time when Obama was running, and a little bit the second time, he was like nice with it, with his messaging game, and they clapped back quickly. Haven't seen good messaging since then. It's been a long time. I'm not used to the Dems having proper messaging. So forgive me if I'm a little weirded out by all this.